Right, welcome to episode 7. Right, I'm going to make a petticoat pipe because there wasn't one with it. Petticoat. Why is it called petticoat? Who is obsessed with ladies' underwear? It's a lady's undergarment to shape a dress or a skirt. So why is that called a petticoat? Who was it? Was it Stevenson? Was it Trevithick? Or Trevithick? Or Trevor Thick? Or was it that Belgian bloke, Wallshirt? I mean, maybe they were all perverts, who knows? Anyway, that's history. I've had a look here and got the dimensions of here for the petticoat pipe, and that shows a straight pipe, lovely. And then I sat and drew something. Now, you use what you've got, don't you? I've got nothing better to do. Now, for some reason, I've got a big lump of brass. And for another reason, similar to that reason, I've got another big lump of brass. And I don't know where they've come from, but I've got nothing better to do. It's Christmas Eve, and I want something to do, and I can get some turning done. So I'm going to make a petticoat pipe out of there in 2 parts, because there's not enough there, and there's not enough there. So I'm going to make it in 2 parts. So I sat last night and I drew this. Now this is quite a simplified version. And basically this is from the shorter bit, which will go over that pipe. And then I'm going to make the bell part separately and solder the two together. However, I've just been looking, because obviously I've drawn these as sticks, but I intended to shape them on the lathe. It's just easier to draw them like that. However, I've just been looking at images of petticoat pipe, and petticoat pipe is completely, not only is it perverted, it's the wrong term altogether, because they show these as the gap narrowing here. I've got 29mm there all the way through, because I've measured, that's 29. But it doesn't do that, does it? And a decent one, they show a narrowing of the hole there. That is not a petticoat pipe, in my opinion. That is a venturi. Who can spell venturi? It's like a carburettor, isn't it? So it should be nice and smooth there and go down to, say, 28, 27 something, and then open up again up here. So we're going to do that. I'll have a go at that. So I'm just thinking about it now. I mean, literally, this is fresh. So what I think I'm going to do, because I'm not going to be able to obviously start it there and take it into there, I think I'm going to make these, and I'm going to leave plenty of meat on the inside, finish the outside, and then solder them together, and then stick them back in the lathe and shape the venturi part on the inside. So that'll be a bit of fun. That's what building a Simplex is all about, isn't it? And discovery. Then I'm going to move on to mounting the boiler on the back here. And I've also decided that I'm going to do a fully detailed video on the pipework, because I cannot find anything on the pipework on YouTube. And even on other people making other locos, they gloss over the pipework. You just see it, oh, we're going to do this, and then bang, and it's done. And you don't see where the pipes go. And I think that would be a useful video. Well, I know it would be. So there. And another one, we're doing all this in one take. I've got to fit this as well. I've just had a notification, an invitation to the machine tool exhibition in April 2024 at the NEC. It's called Mac 24. And I first went to the first one in Mac 80 in 1980 when I was working for Jones and Shipman in Leicester. And it's a machine tool exhibition, and they get all the modern technology and the latest trends and the future trends and everything. And it's basically free if you're in the industry. And I sort of was going to be a photographer again few years ago in 2018. And I booked in, and they've not left me alone since. Every time they have one, they send me an email to say, do you want to come to this, mate? Well, it's not far from me, and I might go. And it's not expensive now because there's actually Wetherspoons at the NEC. So they've got decent beer and decent food at reasonable prices. So I might just tag along there just for a bit of a look. If you fancy it, invent yourself a business if you're not in business. Just make up a company name and register, and they'll let you in. Don't tell them I said that though, otherwise I'll get banned. So yeah, that's it for this take, all in one take. Progress so far. I had a bit of a disaster look. Just caught it, and it flicked it out the chuck and everything, which is a shame because I've just got a nice start of a bell shape in the front there, the first part of the Venturi or Venturi or Venturi or whatever. I've turned the back bit and I've just left that piece on there because, and it's paid off because it did come out the chuck and I'm able to put it back in. It's like a reference, it sort of squares it up. Here's the other bit. I've done that. So carry on, just got to make the outside of this bell shape and cut that in a bit more there, and then turn it round, solder it together, and then turn the last bit of the flute. There, that's not bad, is it? Well, not too good. I'm quite happy with that. That is where it got damaged, where it got flicked out of the chuck. So hopefully I can smooth that off. So there. Well, here's another quick update about this here. Can't remember what I showed you last time, but I've got it soldered and there's a bit there to repair it, where it flew out of the chuck. So I'm going to file that down, hopefully clean it up. I'm not too fussed. I've got a nice bell shape in there, but inside there's a bit of a lip. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it there, look. There's a bit of a lip there because that's deliberately not turned out to the finished size. So I'm going to put it back in the lathe and then clean up the inside and then try and finish off me Venturi at the back there, and then clean up this edge. But the way I did it was I had it there basically, and I put a piece of metal on the back and a piece of metal across the front like that. And then I clamped it up, basically like that. And the idea was so that I could hold it together and the solder would flow downwards. But to get it hot, I used this and this. It was like 2-gun techs. And it was quite difficult. And these are that one I've had for donkey's years. That's okay for domestic stuff. And this one came out of my father-in-law's garage, and that's not very big either. So what I did was I did a bit of research online, and you can only make these decisions with the information that you're presented with, and I decided I needed the kit for the job. So I've just got myself that today. I've never heard of MAP gas. Don't know what it stands for, but it's supposedly 15% hotter than propane. And this set you've got these 3 nozzles with. I don't suppose I'll ever use them. I just used the general one, but these I suppose I haven't looked into it yet, probably for finer work or something, but they're easily interchangeable. Piezo ignition. I did a bit of checking the markets because at Screwfix you've got the Rothenbergers, and I read some bad reports about the Rothenbergers. And I went online and there was even more bad reports online. Somebody's made a video of the trouble he's had with one. And they don't even service them. You can't get parts for them or anything. And I had a look and it was between this, the Vortex, and the other one, which was, what was it called? The Bernzomatic, the American one. The Bernzomatic was a little bit more expensive than this, but it wasn't on the price. I thought I'll get one or the other depending on how easy they are to get hold of. These you can get from Toolstation. The prices at the minute, I mean, we're at December. I mean, it's New Year's Eve tomorrow, 2023. So a couple of days, it'll be 2024. We're right at the end of December 2023. This, I think, is 77 quid. This set, 77 quid from Toolstation, and you got the gas and 3 nozzles to get you going. Shopped around the other one, the Burns-O-Matic, was about 77 quid just for the one burner. Then you got to buy the gas, which I think is about another 15 to 20 quid. I'm not sure. But I've seen it was quality. You can get cheaper Chinese ones. And I always look at the differences, because the difference between buying a cheap Chinese one and this one is not that much. Not worth the saving. The Rothenbergers sound like, they look like the cheap Chinese versions, and it sounds like that they might be rebranded, just rebranded Chinese ones, and you just take potluck. I mean, you could get one and have it for years and years, and it's perfect. But as with the cheap Chinese stuff, and it's not the kind of thing that I would strip like the machine tools that you would strip and rebuild. So the differences weren't enough to make it worth going to the cheap Chinese ones, in my opinion. But then online, I said this was 77, and then I just happened to look at my local plumber's merchant, which is Stewart's Plumbing in Narborough, Leicestershire. It's about 3 miles away from me. And then got this in, and it was 55 plus VAT, 66 quid. So that's a tenner cheaper than Toolstation. So I just went down today and got one. So the next bit of soldering I'll do will be done with that. I've got a fair bit to do on the bodywork and stuff. So just a by the by. There we go. I've obviously put it in there, and I've taken a third off, look, all the way around. There, and there. So what I'm going to do now is, clearly I'm going to turn it now and then do 2 of the others and leave 1 there for my screw. That ain't bad, is it? That'll do. Near enough for rock and roll, surely. Hang on. Ooh, I can't get it off. There it is. Just needs a little bit more of a clean and a polish, but that'll do. And just put a screw in through there, 4BA through there to a slight angle so I can get me thing on it. JD. There we are then, the finished article. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I've done a bit of cleaning. I've got rid of that blemish around there. I polished it out. I used my Dremel type tool, and I got that out. And then put my screw in. It's at a slight angle. I don't know if you can see that. It's at a slight angle. It's a Allen screw, so I can get me my Allen key on it when it's in there. And I've also, I don't know if you can see that, it's also profiled to suit the inside diameter of the smoke box, so it fits right up to the top. So yeah, so that's that done. Quite chuffed with that. Got to think of something else to do now. Right, just to finish off this episode 7, something to think about. I should say thank you very much for all the comments that I get, both here on YouTube and on the forum. It's all very interesting, and it all helps to make decisions, and it's just nice to get a consensus of opinions. So thanks for all that. One such thing that came up was this, which I described in the first episode as a bunker tank. And the reason I did that, I'll explain why I said I thought it was a bunker tank, was because of this cooling pipe here. You can't see it so well. The way this pipe sort of zigzags up here, that's obviously a drain. And I assumed, I read about injectors, I assumed that the water had to be fairly cool as it went into the injector. So I assumed that the water was in there, it went down through this pipework and cooled a bit, and then went through the injector. However, somebody else made a comment, and I think it was Dave and Lily, about this being an oiler, a hydrostatic oiler. In that case, that also makes sense, because then the steam coming down this pipe the other way would then cool in here and condense and then go in there as water. And again, a drain. But I'm not so sure. I mean, obviously it's pressurized because of this pressurized cap. I don't know now. One thing is the size of the thing. It's a lot of oil. And this pipe, this is how I got it. I mean, it could be wrong, but this pipe comes up here. The supply pipe comes up there. So it was sat in the frame there. Did it go back in? It probably won't go back in because I had to remove the pipes to get it out. But that's roughly it. So I've got these pipes coming up here, which is okay because it come up to the manifold for a steam supply. But then why would the oil come back up here? Unless it was to come back up to a gauge, an oil gauge, and then up to the steam chest, to the steam T. So I don't know now. I don't know. It could be used as an oiler. I've had a look inside. I've had this top off and had a good look inside. And I assumed if it was an oiler that the inlet pipe for the water would, I assumed that the outtake for the oil, that's right, would be a tube inside, and then it would come back down. You know, the oil would go up there and then down the tube. But I can see now that that doesn't have to be the case. So long as the water's coming in at the bottom and it's pushing the oil out the top, that would work. I've also had a good look inside, and there is no trace of anything inside. So whether it's been used as anything, you know, whether it's actually been got round to being used, I don't know. I would have expected to see some trace of oil in there if it had oil in it. I'm just thinking, you know, I mean, when you think that those little oil boxes, the mechanical oilers, the size of them, against the size of that, I don't know. Comments appreciated. I've got to sort out an oiler, so I might already have one. The thing is, I should also say, the bodywork that came with it, if we call it bodywork, I got the two side panels here, and then the two sides of the tank. One with the tank in, I think it's the other side, and the other one this side. It's not from this loco because it fouls here. There's a part of the tank. It's been started to. I'll tell you what. I'll show you. But just to show you, hold on. Look here. Here's the side for this side. But if I turn it round, this side of the tank has been removed. It's been disassembled because this fouls on there. This is supposed to be, hang on, this is supposed to be at an angle. The tank is supposed to be made at an angle to accommodate the reverser. So obviously that's what somebody was doing. So I believe that this is not original to this loco, and there was no, I've only got this side, I've got the other side, the roof and the front bit here, but I haven't got the back bit. So there was probably a bunker tank in the proper place, which would be sort of there. So, but I haven't got that at all, and I haven't got any trace of it. So that's the problem. Well, it's not a problem. It's just something to overcome. Some kind of oiler. Whether I use that or whether I use that as a bunker tank or what, I don't know yet. Comments welcome.